Oh, yes. This coercive influence that's an insurrection against the laws of the United States, folks. I've been sending these videos and I've been documenting what the law says, and for some reason, this influence keeps causing an insurrection as if it were legal to issue court orders without any service or process. And I've had a real problem with those obstructing my rights as if being in the family and being a dog was so great. I mean, you don't have to really work that much and you get paid for the most inconsequential things. I mean, you could pick up a can of soup and get $100 for it. Oh. But what you don't realize is there's a lot of children that are probably sewn into because their parents got involved in something they didn't understand. Oh, I got a lizard in my ass, all the Illuminatist orgasms that I had, and ooch, I had to amp myself up so I could blow my brains out while having sex. These huge super orgasms that completely drain every sperm out of your testicles. Yes. Well, as a man, I really care for my own genitals. I don't use them unless I'm sure I'm not going to hurt myself. Yes, yes. But there is this thought of the spirituality of organized crime where if I were looking in the poorer neighborhoods where most of the students go to a school because they're poor, most of their parents are honest and they might have a lot of tattoos and they might have done some things illegal before they had kids. Yes. But when you get sewn into, it's one of those things where somebody will show up in your rearview mirror and remind you of what you used to do instead of what you're trying to do now. Yes. Now, when you go through the 20% and you get all those school buses and the actual fuel that's being used, I think we can make some improvements. But I'm going to want the spirituality of organized crime. Now, did you rent a demon? Did you go visit one of those fortune tellers? Because I've had to talk to them about that. Then there were those on the left side and the right side of the spirituality. Could you give me again the business licenses of those that are psychics? Yes. Fortune tellers? Yes. Occultists? Ouch. Spiritists? Ah. Necromancers? Ouch. I'm just wanting to know of all the individuals that fuck themselves into the very poor thinking I will torture your parents if they do not do what I say. How many of them are really serving Satan? And they would say it's their spirituality, they have freedom of religion, they can worship whatever they want to worship. And I would say, well, when you actually torture the parents of children because their parents don't want their children tortured, yes, yes, yes. Now, it's not a tax return thing. I know you report everything you receive as a private business owner when you're doing your palm reading, your crystal balls. In fact, give me the supplies. You can't do a really good fortune telling without one of those expensive crystal balls, can you? Yes. Of all the new age occultists that are really sure about my aura being as big as it is, I am attractive to a lot of women that see my human spirit. Yes, I do. I can get really full at times, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's illuminating. I don't want to look at him. But I have actually talked to a few witches. They wouldn't say that. They'd say they're New Agers. Okay, they're New Agers. And they have these different conferences where they go around reading each other's auras and using the various fortune-telling cards. And they're constantly telling each other what kind of fortune they're going to have. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, as an individual that wants all the fortune-telling cards, and oh my gosh, somebody showed up, it's death, is that right? I was living in Centralia, and I wanted to contact the highest paid occultists, fortune tellers, and palm readers, and I said, well, why don't you read my fortune pouch? Am I actually on top? Oh my gosh, the zodiac signs. Oh, what sign am I? Cancer. Ah! Do I have cancer or am I the cancer? Oh, don't say the word cancer because you might get it. Shut up! Shut up, you motherfucker!